Episode 4, I'll name this show later. After a week-long hiatus, we are back. We're back. And it's Wednesday, so we got some more golf stuff to get into this week. We got a couple of NFL notes to touch on this week. Let's just get right into it. 3 guys that I have targeted for the Sony Open, the second event on the PGA Tour's calendar, starting with Russell Henley. Okay, Russell Henley at 20-1. I typically wouldn't play Russell Henley at a number like 20-1, but given the field and given his course history, I really like Henley in a spot like this. He played last week, something that works in terms of winner trends at this course. 9 of the last 11 winners of this event have played in the Century the week before. He's won on this course before. Bermuda greens are his best putting surface. Last year, he was 9th on the tour in approaches from 50 to 125 yards. He was 1st in driving accuracy percentage, and he was 3rd in this field in fairways gained over the last 24 rounds of everyone in this field. So I just like Russell Henley here. He's a guy that's going to give himself opportunities. He's going to knock it tight. He's going to make some putts on these Bermuda greens. 20-1, it's not the best price in the world, but still, I'm willing to play it, given he's won on this course before. Moving on, we got Matt Kuchar. Matt Kuchar is someone that I don't necessarily play all that often, but I always enjoy when I do play Matt Kuchar because I think he's a guy that you can see the fits for him on tour well in advance, right? So we're in Hawaii. We have a resort course, going to be a little bit easier scoring. It's shorter. It has more of a focus on accuracy. It rewards the long drives, but it's going to really reward playing out of fairways, knocking it on greens, giving yourself putts. Matt Kuchar, 6 trips to the Sony Open. He has a win, 2 top 10s. In his last 3 years, he's gone T7 cut at 50-1. I like Matt Kuchar to potentially get back in the winner's circle this week, and I'm probably going to play him to top 20 or something like that. And finally, I'm going to end it with a 400-1 mega bomb. This is just a fun $5 into $2,000 ticket here. Kevin Kisner. Kisner was awesome in the broadcast booth with his debut at the Century. Now he's in the field for the Sony Open, a course that's been pretty kind to him in the past. He tied for 3rd at the Sony in 2022. He has 4 top 5s in his last 7 trips to this golf course. And Kisner to me just seems like a guy who's able to be up for a moment, right? Spotlight's sort of on him. He's moved into broadcasting now. It would be very Kevin Kisner-ish to get himself in the mix here, get in some sort of contention on Sunday, and at 400-1 for a guy who's got, 4 top 5s in his last 7 trips to this course, I'll take that. It's a very volatile play. I'm going to maybe play him to top 10 instead of top 40. Earlier this week when I floated the idea of Kisner by a couple of my buddies, one of them said to me, hey, he's, plus 190 to top 40. I said, just play a top 20 number instead, right? You can lean sort of more into that variance. He's either going to miss this cut or finish T9, if I'm being honest, right? So the 400-1 number, it's a really fun number. This number is 200-1 in some other spots. So, you can take that as a win if you really want. And just going to kind of hope that Kevin Kisner's in the mix come the end of Sunday to give us our first 3-digit sweat of the week. And I guess before I wrap this up, there are 2 other things that we're going to touch on. I just got to double make sure that these odds are still the same. So I'm looking at the Australian Open here, and I'm looking at the men's side of the draw. And Stefanos Tsitsipas now 55-1 on FanDuel to win. So I got Stefanos Tsitsipas at 70-1 to win the Australian Open. He's now down to 55-1 on FanDuel. I still don't mind that. I still don't really hate the number at 55. Like I said, I played it at 70, so I won't be playing it again at 55. But you have a guy like Stefanos Tsitsipas. He is the number 6 player in the world right now. He's made the semifinals in 4 of his last 5 trips to Australia. And the Australian Open is by far his best Grand Slam. So this number's 30, 35 in some other spots. So at 55-1, I still think you're getting some value there. And if you're a cash out person, if you're someone looking for a partial payout, at 55-1 for a guy like Stefanos Tsitsipas, who has made at least the 4th round, if not further, in all of his recent trips to Australia, there's a really good chance that we get to the second week of this event, you're holding a 75-1 ticket, and he's about to play in the 4th round, he's about to play in the quarters, and you have a pretty decent cash out option, right? So I think that's something that if you're looking for a cash out, you could probably get yourself paid out a little bit. And if you're looking for a longer bomb to start the year, 55-1, Stefanos Tsitsipas, I really don't mind it. The draw will be coming out in a couple of days. I'm going to hope that he's on the opposite side of the draw as Djokovic, and you only have to see him in the final. And then I'm going to hope that a guy like Medvedev or Zverev either isn't on their side of the draw or gets tripped up early on, right? So first tennis bet of the year, Stefanos Tsitsipas, 55-1. He's a fan favorite of ours. He's a friend of the show, I guess we could say. Stefanos, if you ever want to come on sometime, just let me know, and we can make that happen. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the big NFL news that happened on Tuesday. Yeah, today's only Wednesday, right? The big news that happened on Tuesday. Mike Vrabel fired by the Tennessee Titans. One of the more shocking firings I've seen in the NFL in quite some time. Warren Sharp with a really good tweet yesterday to sum up Mike Vrabel's time in Tennessee. 55-45, 12th best record in the NFL, 3 trips to the playoffs in his 6 years, and his quarterbacks were Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill, Blaine Gabbert, Malik Willis, Josh Dobbs, and Will Levis. Whatever is the issue in Tennessee, whatever is going wrong in that building, I don't think Mike Vrabel was the issue. One of the reasons why I've always liked Mike Vrabel, one of the reasons why I've always been a big fan of him, I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan, so I've always kept the Tennessee Titans a little bit closer on my radar than I think a lot of other people. And you just have with Mike Vrabel, you have 2 things that are certain when he's the coach of your team. You have an identity and you have culture, right? Mike Vrabel is such a presence. He brings such energy. He brings and demands a level of respect. I thought it was a really interesting interview, a really good, neat conversation. He went on Bussin' with the Boys with Will Compton and Taylor Lewan a couple years ago, and you watch that interview and you can just see the dynamics of these 2 incredibly talented former NFL players, and they were still fighting for that respect of their former coach, right? Vrabel was still busting their balls and still commanding the room, even with 2 former players outside of a football environment. He just has that intensity, he has that passion, and he hates losing, right? He hates losing. He had that press conference a couple weeks ago or last week where he just said, I fucking hate losing. That's why we get out of bed, to win the games. He fucking hates losing. Now, part of me wonders if there's a disconnect there between ownership and the head coach, where the owners wanted to tank, Vrabel wanted to go fast and retool on the fly. And he's using that message of I fucking hate losing through the media to say to the owners, I'm not sitting through a rebuild. I'm not doing that. I'll go somewhere else and win. And I know there's a lot of spots, there's a lot of destinations that have been floated out for Vrabel. The spot that I think would be great for him is Atlanta, right? I think Atlanta is an awesome landing spot for almost any head coach right now. And Mike Vrabel could go into Atlanta. He would have a defense that, he can help elevate the floor of that defense that's already good enough at this point to win games, to probably win the division this year. And then on the offensive side, he has Kyle Pitts, he has Bijan Robinson, he has Tyler Algier. And we've seen in Tennessee that despite the Marcus Mariotas, the Ryan Tannehills, the Blaine Gabberts, Vrabel knows how to get enough out of his star players, right? There was never an issue of Derrick Henry's not getting the ball enough in Tennessee. When DeAndre Hopkins went to Tennessee, he had 1,000 yards this year, right? When A.J. Brown was there, he was their star. He got the ball, right? Vrabel knows that in order for your offense to be successful, your best players have to eat. So if you bring Vrabel into Atlanta and you give him a quarterback like Russell Wilson, I think they could win 10, 11 games maybe and run away with the NFC South next year, right? I know the talks about New England make a ton of sense and going back there, but that is just, New England seems like such a disaster right now, and being the guy after Bill Belichick seems like such a daunting task. I think if you're Vrabel, Atlanta makes a lot of sense. And a quarterback like Russell Wilson makes a lot of sense. Just let him go, manage the games, put the ball in the star players' hands, take care of the defense, win 10, 11 games, get a home playoff date. It'd be a successful year. I can see it. It's shocking to me. It's shocking to me that Vrabel's out of Tennessee and it's not on his own terms. The fact that they fired him, the fact that they didn't want to pursue a trade, it's all a little weird. Maybe he's destined to go to New England and the Patriots were just hellbent on not moving any assets for him. I could see that. But if he is a free agent and any team does have their shot at him, I think Atlanta makes a lot of sense, right? So, that's going to do it for us today. Like we said, week-long hiatus. Had to get back in the chair. Busy time. Back It's a Wednesday, so we're heading to work, and a lot of stuff up in the air, right? A lot of stuff up in the air. We got an exciting new project debuting tomorrow. We'll talk about that on Thursday. And until then, I hope you're well. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you making it this far in the video. And yeah, peace.